Alright, so the topic of the video is this. What are your top 5 favorite anime, and where does Sword Art Online rank up on that list, if it ranks at all in your top 5 anime? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. My name is Ventus SG, and what's good with you? Alright, guys, so I was thinking about like what topics to make for Sword Art Online videos, because obviously build videos for Alicization Lycoris are probably dead. We're waiting for the new Sword Art Online game to come out. So I just thought up a couple of topics, and the first one that really came to mind, because we all really are fans of anime. So I ranked my top 5 favorite anime, and at the top of that list it has to be Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball Super. And I thought about it, like, why is Dragon Ball Z Dragon Ball Super at the top of my list? And it is simply because it is the most generic anime for these reasons. The fighting, the powers, the character design, and my favorite character is Vegeta. And I think for like the entirety of this video, I'm just gonna rank my top 5 favorites in that order, like that. So what is it about the fighting? I think the fighting is, like I said, that is the most generic anime fighting that you have on anime. You don't really see, like, you don't really have to think too much about it. Like, it's like, I think one of the most complex fighting in anime is probably like a Bleach. I mean, I know my anime repertoire is probably not as extensive as some of other people's, but I just remember like some of those episodes that I've watched of Bleach on Midnight Run and, you know, whatever, Adult Swim. It was just like, they would do something and then they would spend the next episode like explaining why they did what they did to entrap the person. It was like, you know, I purposely attacked you with a weaker attack so I could lay this trap down as a disguise to like trick you into this, and then I had you for this, and then I anticipated you to do that when I did this move so I could get here. Like, they're playing chess, and that sort of fighting is cool and everything like that, but the episode where they have to explain like what they did to like make it make sense, I don't know if I really vibe with that. I mean, a part of me liked it, but that's sort of like fighting that you have to think about. I like stuff that you really don't have to think about. Now, there is some stuff in Dragon Ball Z fighting that was just like, the scenes where it was just the same repetitive punching over and over again, like that kind of sucked when they did it too much. But for the most part, the fighting you didn't really think about too much. The powers were actually really dope. I love the aspect of, you know, them powering up and shooting energy. The character designs were really cool too. I like the baggy pants mostly. But out of all of that, Vegeta probably was my favorite character, because not because he was a villain. I mean, at first it was because he was a villain, but because his mentality and his attitude sort of like fueled me for like everything else in life, because he always had this attitude of wanting to be better than Goku, wanting to be better than Kakarot. So he dedicated his life to just being better. So whenever I wanted to do something to like be better than somebody, whether it be something, you know, recreational or scholastic. Yeah, I even used it scholastically one time. There was like a girl in my biology class named Jennifer Nardozzi, and I personally made it my goal that year to do better than her. I remember going to the school to my biology teacher, Mrs. Knowles, and asking her who's got the best grade in the class. And I don't know, man. I don't know what behooves my 16, 17-year-old brain to do this, but she was like, it's Jennifer. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do better than her. And I dedicated myself to doing that. I knew I wasn't going to do better than her, but by trying to do better than her, it got me a really good grade in class. Like, I think I got like a B+ that year, or that semester in biology, and I did that specifically because I wanted to get a better grade, and I wanted to see if I could use the Vegeta mentality. I remember calling it specifically that. I've made up this like term for it in my head, the Vegeta mentality. So I wanted to see if I could use that mentality to do better in school at some random topic, and I picked biology, and that was it. My second favorite anime, it has to be Digimon, but only because I have the most watch time hours of Digimon. I love the characters, I love the different human character personalities, and I say that specifically thinking about how all the characters in the original Digimon and the second season Digimon, how they were all pretty much happy for the most part. Then you had TK, who was always kind of crying, and then you had Matt, who was this angsty character. I think he was the first anime character outside of Vegeta that was an ally to the heroes, to the main squad, but he was sort of like, you know, on his own. Like that episode in the original Digimon where he was just like, look, man, I can't take this. I'm going off my own. Garurumon, let's go. And Garurumon's like, Matt, are you serious? We should stay with him. He's like, look, let's go. I don't want to be with them. We can do this on our own. And I thought that was really cool that Matt did that. And that was like one of my favorite things about Digimon. I love that Digimon, the different series, had some of the same Digimon. And like in one series, this Digimon is the main like Digimon character, and then this other series, you'll see multiple of those Digimon, and they're not the main. And I think one of the things to that was Black War Greymon, who was my favorite villain of any Digimon series. He was Black War Greymon. You got to see Black War Greymon in the original, but then when you saw him again in this other series, he was a problem. So that made me really think I really liked him. I loved seeing the evolution of the Digimon. I remember thinking, well, what happens if they DNA Digimon this one with this one? I wonder if they did that, and then an episode later they would do it, and I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy. I was just thinking that. Obviously, Black War Greymon is probably my favorite villain, but my favorite Digimon of all time was just Angemon, because I feel like Angemon was just him, you know. He was like, listen, I may not be the strongest Digimon, but I do have this ability that can wipe out any Digimon. I can get destroyed, sure, but if you let me catch you with this, it's a wrap for you. And then at number 3, Sword Art Online comes in. Sword Art Online was an anime that I sort of watched on my own. I was always told to watch, I forget what it is, they made some video game off of a video game isekai. I can't remember what the name of that game was or the anime was, and I asked somebody one day, I was like, hey, what's an anime or a game where, you know, people get taken into a game world? And they told me about this particular anime, or this particular anime game, and I played it, and I was like, okay, I don't really like this. So then I researched on my own, what are some anime that are like this, because I think it even had an anime. I wish I could remember what the name of that anime was, but then I researched, and they said that Sword Art Online is an anime where the character gets taken into a video game world. So I watched the first couple episodes, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I kind of like this. This is not something that somebody suggested to me. This is something I found on my own, and I saw like the first, you know, whatever on Netflix, and then after that, I was kind of hooked, man. What did I like about Sword Art Online? I love that they're in a video game world. I love that the combat was okay for the most part. It didn't get really good until Alicization, I think. That's when combat really sort of take off as far as choreography. The magic in Alicization was super good. I wish they would have had magic in Sword Art Online from like the beginning. I love the friendship in Alicization between Yu-Gi-Oh and Kirito. I know it kind of hinged on something like a little bit more than friends, I guess. Especially when you played the video game, you saw like their real relationship. Like we all know, Kirito, he likes the ladies. They never really alluded to him actually liking Yu-Gi-Oh in that way, but their relationship seemed to sort of transcend any sort of, you know, label or whatnot like that. You know what I mean? Especially in a video game, Yu-Gi-Oh was just, he liked Kirito so much. He was his friend. He was his best friend. And he was just down for whatever. It wasn't exactly like they were, you know, doing each other or whatever. But, you know, it just felt like to me that, you know, he liked Kirito. This is what you want, man. Go ahead. I guess. I mean, I'm your friend. I'm here to make you happy or whatever. So I think I really like that aspect of their friendship. Alice was probably my favorite character in Alicization simply because when you met her, she was a problem, and she continued to be a problem for literally everything. The most thing I like about Sword Art Online, though, is how Kirito is the main character. He does get beat a lot of the times, and I think that's the thing that really draws me in about anime, how the main character has the ability to get beat and they have to get stronger. Kirito, though, I don't think he'd get stronger as much as he just turns up whenever he needs to turn up. He turns up, and when he turns up, he usually like goes all out. I think I only saw one time when he tried to turn up and it didn't work. I know there are probably more times when he tried to turn up and it didn't work, but when he turns up, he turns up. Let's see. So Sword Art Online was number 3 for me, all Sword Art Online. Number 4 has to be Naruto, and I know that's a hot take. People say that Naruto should be my top 3. Well, Naruto was okay. I felt like Naruto was kind of a little bit too goofy, and I say that knowing full well that I have Digimon at my top 2. But I don't know, sometimes that Naruto, it was too like goofy, but for the most part, I really did like Naruto a lot. The thing I liked about Naruto so much is, first of all, the fighting choreography. I love the choreography in Naruto. Anytime I see a fight where they actually take their time, they paid for it, and they draw it and animate it in such a way that blows you away, like that one clip that everybody plays, that's their argument for Boruto. It's like, hey, look at this clip. You guys talk trash about Boruto, but look at Naruto and Sasuke fighting whatever. And I'm like, bro, I get what you're doing, but that's just one fight in Boruto. I'm not a really big fan of Boruto, but Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, I really like those for the choreography. I love the way that they integrated their power, the ninjutsu, with hand-to-hand combat. I thought that was really cool. I want to see more anime that do that. The Sharingan probably is my favorite aspect about Naruto, and I don't know if I like this. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the fact that Sharingan is this all-powerful ability, however, it is always overshadowed. It's always like, yeah, Sharingan's cool, it's got all these special abilities, but when have we ever really seen Sharingan really like do something really great outside of Madara? Like, Sasuke has all this power, but he's always getting folded. And I hated that in Shippuden, and my friends will always remind me, yeah, he had the Sharingan, he could make black fire, he had this giant, like, golem thing that he could summon, but did he ever win a fight by himself? He always got folded, and I hate that. I really hate that, because I love the Sharingan powers. It's my favorite aspect of the anime. The world lore also is super cool. I loved how Naruto and Naruto Shippuden really built on this like feudal Japan sort of like world building. I don't like how it evolved into like more of a American like technological heads, well, not the heads, so much the heads, but the burger restaurants, basically Boruto. I don't like what it became in Boruto. I think in Shippuden it was perfect the way it was. My favorite character, obviously, Sasuke. If, you know, not Sasuke, Madara. I love those two characters because they were chaotic. They were pure chaotic. They were chaotic neutral. I love chaotic neutral characters in video games. That's the best way I can. It's a D&D term. It just means they did whatever they needed to do for their own goals. They were pure chaotic, and I love that. I don't really like chaotic good characters. Chaotic bad characters are pretty cool to me as well, but chaotic neutral, they don't really subscribe to one side. It's like, listen, this is the way that I want it, and I have the power to make what I want. I see the good side, I see the bad side, but this is how I see things, and you can't stop me because I'm stronger than all of you. That ending scene in Shippuden where he just snatched up all the tailed beasts and everybody was powerless to stop him. Bro, that was like the coolest. That was the coolest anime that I've ever seen, like, actually. And then finally, number 5 has to be, man, and it was a toss-up between Shaman King and Yu-Gi-Oh! I had to go with Shaman King simply because, like, the new Shaman King I can watch, the new Yu-Gi-Oh! I cannot watch. I cannot watch new Yu-Gi-Oh! I watched like Yu-Gi-Oh! And then Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and then after that I couldn't watch any more Yu-Gi-Oh! But Shaman King, the entire original series, and then the new Netflix series, I think is really, really cool. So everything about Shaman King, I love the fighting, and I love how their powers integrate with their fighting with the swords. And there's one thing specifically that I really enjoyed about Shaman King back in the original series, and that's how the main character, Yo, he fights with a sword, and he didn't know how to fight without a sword. They really don't touch on this too much in the new Netflix series, but the old one, when there was like an episode where he didn't have a sword, his sword broke or something, and he had nothing to fight with, and he got folded, absolutely folded, because he didn't know how to fight without a sword. But put a sword in his hand, he's clearing everybody because of Amiimaru. I love how the fighting and the powers are similar to Dragon Ball Z, especially in his new series. Tao Ren, my favorite character in the show, whenever he got pissed, like, it was so cool. Like, Tao Ren had all this power, and he would get pissed, like, looking at Yo's older brother, and he's like, look, you want to go? We can go right now. And he would just power up with his energy around him, and he could do some damage. He couldn't do, you know, the level of damage that he needed to do to beat the main villain or whatever. I can't think of what Yo's brother is right now, but I just loved how Tao Ren was able to just power up. Yo, not really my favorite character. I like watching Yo, but definitely those chaotic, evil, chaotic, neutral characters that just were pissed for no reason, those are my favorite characters. And also, I love the friendships, man. Tao Ren was an enemy, especially in the new Netflix series. I keep referencing it. If you haven't watched it, check out the Shaman King. I love how Yo had the ability to turn enemies into friends, or frenemies at the very least. Tao Ren, I do believe if he needed to, he would flip the switch at the drop of a hat and probably try to kill Yo if he really wanted to. So those are my top 5 favorite animes. What are your top 5 favorite animes, or your top 3, or your top favorite anime, and what do you like about them? What makes them your best? And again, where does Sword Art Online rank in your favorite animes? My name is Ventus SG, and thank you guys for watching this commentary video. If you did enjoy this type of video, let me know down in the comments, and I will do more. All right, I'll catch you next time. Peace out, guys.